This is the Zac Anesbury Show.
Welcome. This podcast clip comes from an interview with Ryan Buckle from Top Shelf International. Yeah. So from a consumer goods manufacturing position, how often are you interacting with the retailers? How often are you in meetings with, the Coles and Woolies about getting your products into store, and then how much, and then which shelf facings, and then at what price, and how do you advertise through them, and how much of your time's actually spent on that?
A lot.
Yeah?
Yeah. So, it's just the reality of how the retail market plays out in Australia. It's not like Japan, where you've got lots of retailers who are vying for a size of the prize. I think it's one of the big learnings coming back into the operational roles as well. I didn't really understanding what retailers want to do with certain categories, but just at a general supermarket level as well. So getting in tune with that, understanding how it drives the category forward, and then what portfolio choices you need to make and how you can sort of capture that opportunity is really important, I think. There's not a lot of upside, I don't think, in trying to drive your own agenda. I think everyone has a different role to play in terms of what perspective you might bring in terms of how it might all come together. But it's a really, I think you're going to have to get really good at it as well to make sure that you're going to have long-term success. But I think it's a good lesson for marketers. Like, I reckon I probably started in my career sort of salespeople were the devil.
Okay.
You were constantly trying to, convince each other that one way or the other was the right path. I think the key for most organisations, but in FMCG, in my experience, working really closely with your sales colleagues is super important to getting the momentum that you need to grow the brands. So everyone wants brand growth at a manufacturer level, but if it doesn't fit into something bigger around how it sort of drives retail agenda or the category agenda, you're going to end in a not a great place, I would say. So having customer essentially at the heart of the things that you're trying to do is super important. So I prioritise time because I think that's where the rubber hits the road too, Zach, for lack of a better phrase. So, retailers are the gatekeepers of those growth plans. So you've got to make sure that it's you're trying to find some mutuality in all of it.
Yeah, and I suppose that leads me on to the next question, which is, do you sort of come at it from, we have this research that shows this is the way that we can grow our brand, and if we grow our brand, then the category should grow, and then that's better for you as well? Or how do you kind of use research within your organisation?
Yeah, so I think at a fundamental level, you want to understand how the category is bought in the first place. And my experience largely, and Aaron Burke-Bass, music to your ears, is most of the category value is tied up in people who come in not that often. So it's really easy to build things that you think for people who might buy a certain category every single week. But the reality is that a lot of people don't hold much knowledge about you. And they're going to make some repertoire style decisions when they're buying things. So I think the sweet spot often is understanding why a light buyer is a light buyer. It could just be simply that you're not investing enough in, or the category doesn't invest enough in advertising. It's not easy to find in store. The experience of shopping it in store isn't great. It's not priced in a way that I think it's that it works. But I remember an old, you'll know, a very famous Mars colleague used to describe it in 4 ways: the barriers to penetration. I don't think of it, I can't find it, it's not relevant to me, or I can't afford it. So that's kind of the light buyer domain for me, which is like, how do you tackle some of the big things that are going to constrict category growth in the long term? So working closely with research partners like yourselves, or you might do lots of other sort of work. There's lots of scan data too, as you would know, but trying to work out where those little bits of opportunity are. I think the challenge then is, where's the scale? I see a lot in the pet food industry now. Like, there's obviously grain-free has become a thing. So it was clearly, over time it's become a barrier to penetration that you don't have a grain-free product. So now everyone seems to have a grain-free product. I'm not sure if it works or not, but it's just an observation now as a consumer walking down the aisle. But there'll be ways in which there'll be commonality for retailers and manufacturers to grow, which is understand those light buyers. They're the ones that are, it's bloody hard to get people to buy more soap. There's only so much soap you can potentially use, but where they buy soap, what type of soap they buy, all of those things are really important things to understand those barriers. Some of them are easier to solve than others. Some are products, some are shelf related, some are advertising, as I mentioned, but spending most of my time in that space, because that's where there is an incremental opportunity for everybody. If a light buyer comes into a category, and you get heaps of them, it really changes the growth profile. Whereas if you're staying in this, in the heavies, which a lot of research has a bias for, to try and find people that are light buyers of a category is a challenging thing to do. You end up just cannibalising, stealing share, and you sort of get into this, task of one-upmanship versus the other players in a particular segment. So that would be the main place. And there's lots of ways to find out how light buyers might. There's lots of science to say that how they sort of work, but there's also category intricacies that you need to understand.
Hey guys, it's Zac Anesbury here with just a couple of quick reminders. If you've enjoyed today's podcast, then make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. There are plenty more interviews to come with some of the world's leading marketing academics and practitioners. You do not want to miss these. In the meantime, if you're looking for another way to connect, then follow me on Twitter at Zac Anesbury. That is ZACANESBURY for my take on the marketing issues of the day.